Hello and welcome to this week's Gig Harbor Market Update. My name is Christian. I'm a real estate agent here in Gig Harbor, and I'm going to break down to you the latest and greatest Gig Harbor numbers just came in. It is now the first week of December, which means we have now November to look through. And wow, what a shocker. I mean, the prices are, well, they'll speak for themselves. Anyway, let's get into it, and I won't keep you waiting for much longer. So let's jump into the latest and greatest data. What I have pulled up here is our Gig Harbor median sales price, and this is for existing residential. And what you see here in the far right is a 9% jump in median sales price. Normally, and it's a big surprise twist, is that we have a trough developing at this time of the year as we go from November, December, and we usually hit a trough here in winter. January, February, and then boom, you know, the season changes, it goes spring, and then everybody's happy and excited looking for homes. And that's when we have usually our price, median sales price tick up. But here we have from October to November a huge 9% jump in prices, and that I did not predict that. I predicted prices come down to 700. So that's egg on my face, and they just reversed. They went up again 9%, which is $65,000. And yes, we had a couple of major waterfront listings close. We just had one for $8.5 million close, and of course that impacts the data because there's only what, like 50 houses that closed this month, which is incredible. So one house has a, you know, pulls its own weight. But here, if we exclude waterfront data, we still see that median sales price has gone up by from 60. Let's just do it from 535 to 580. Let's just call it $50,000, which is still a huge jump, excluding all the crazy waterfront properties that just sold. So anyway, that's only half of the data here. So, but it's still a big shocker. So let's look at the rest of the data to see if we can infer what'll happen for the rest of the season. So our next bunch of data we're going to look through is new listings, and I was correct with new listings, and not the sales price. But anyway, new listings are, oh, this is 3-month rolling data. Oh, there. I'm doing this live here. I got to go to the office here, in the real office, in a few minutes. So I'm pushing this out. Anyway, we went from 60 listings in October to 37 listings in November. And that is, again, a seasonal trend, and I expect us to hit probably between 15 and 25 listings in the month of December, so which is this month. So you can see that December is the low point in new listings, and then after that, you know, it shoots up in January, February as the spring season starts ramping up. So new listing wise, if you're a buyer right now, it's going to be slim pickings, but it's the holidays and just people don't want to move. They want to have their family over, and they're all waiting for January. There's been a bunch of canceled listings, so I think everyone's just waiting until the next year to start listing again. So new listings down, and they will be down this month. And then I really hope to see that seasonal trend tick up starting in January. The next batch of data is our days on market, and we have seen a tick up in days on market. It is now a little over 2 weeks. We have 17 days. So the median priced home, or the median home, this is not all homes. There's been homes that have been on the market for almost a year. But if you price your home right and you list it to sell, then it'll take about a little over 2 weeks to sell. Now, if we go back and look at 10 years worth of history, we can see that this is still a very quick turnaround for a home. Like in November, in previous months, we see over a month homes are on the market. So just looking at these troughs, they kind of align. So these troughs happen in June. So here we have 13 days on market. We're not too far from that, and it's the middle of November, or well, it's in December now, but houses are still selling really quickly thanks to the lack of new listings and lack of inventory. And speaking of inventory, let's look at months of pending. And we can see inventory has flatlined for the past couple of months here at 2.2. Again, this is how many months it would take to go through all of our available inventory in Gig Harbor. So if no other houses came on the market, it would take 2.2 months to go through every house and get sold. So That is quite normal, what we see in the past. And a balanced market is usually between 5 to 6 months of inventory. So we still see that sellers have the upper hand, and we usually see the highest amount of inventory because the amount of buyers has been reduced. And at this time of the year, it is both seasonal and thanks to the interest rates. So as interest rates slowly taper down, not because the Fed is lowering them per se, but because the market is reducing the risk premium, we should see inventory starting to fall, I would hope, in December and January, which means that their buyer activity is up, and well, it just means that it's going to be more competitive. But right now, if you're looking to buy, now is the perfect time. Interest rates are still relatively high, and there's very little competition. And of course, being seasonal and the fact that interest rates are still high, now is the perfect time to buy without competition. And if you do get a mortgage, you can always refinance here in the future, probably I would say in 6 months. So don't dread the percentage rates, as long as you can make 6 months worth of payment. I think you can do a refi and get probably 0.5% to 1% off your interest rate. Whew. All right, what's next? If you're wondering about the amount of buyers currently, it's a good thing to look at showings per listing, as we see that they are down. So if you look at the right side of the screen here, in May and June we had about 7 to 8 showings per listing, and that's dropped off by half. This is quite seasonal. We now have 4 showings per listing before it goes sold. So that just indicates the fact that buyers have been reduced, and we see that happen last year as well. This is when interest rates spiked. So I don't expect to see much more reduction in showings per listing, especially as, again, interest rates are going down, and I expect December, January to start picking up again. But yeah, this is the slowest time of the season, and again, competition is lower, so go for it and look for a house if you have been waiting on the sidelines. One topic I want to talk about in this week's email/YouTube video is the fact, well, it's a little late now because prices are up this month, but in the last couple months, what we saw was our price per square foot were ticking upwards, even though median sales prices were down. And why is that? Well, let me use this example to illustrate the point. So this house sold just recently for $565. Below median sales price. Hey, you got a great deal here. But then we start digging into the numbers and we see that it's a 1-bed, 1-bath, 560 square feet. This means this house sold for over $1,000 a square foot. Yes, that's right. They could have built a very fancy house for that price. So that's, we saw here is we saw prices from September to October, November ticking up in price per square foot because people were paying more for a home even though it was smaller. So buyers got kind of whittled down towards a smaller house to fit their budget, but that means that they were pushing the cost of the home up per square foot. So even though they got something that was in their price range, it was still a smaller home, and they had to bid on those these reasonable. Any home that's under the median sales price usually gets a few offers on it, just because of interest rates. So that's just what's been happening. Is there's still intense competition here on homes that are below the median sales price of $815,000. So if you find a home that's, look at the price per square foot. Don't get screwed on buying a $1,000 square foot, because you can build a very nice house for $1,000 square foot. All right, with that said, that's it for today. I got 10 minutes to get to the office, and then anyway, that's my Monday. So thank you for watching, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see each other next week.